Hey Homestead family, so we started filling up our first bed and we took half of the hay or the straw that was in the other bed that had started to decompose, and we lined this bed with that straw. So it's like gonna have a good base to it. And then from the dirt that we got yesterday from the dump truck, Mr. Homestead has started putting it on top of the hay. So we'll be filling this bed up. So we have filled the bed up with the dirt on top of the hay. And now it's up to, if you see that it's up to the beginning of the second board. And now we're about to take some peat and put some peat down to mix in there. And then we will put some more dirt on top of that.
Wind's blowing pretty good.
So we're just kind of sparingly using the blood meal. Another good substitute for blood meal is if you don't have blood meal and you fish, raw fish does the same thing. My granddaughter and I have been studying in history just recently when the Indians helped the Pilgrims in growing the corn. One of the things they used to help fertilize the corn was they put raw fish in the hole before they planted the corn. So it's something that's been around for a long time and help save the Pilgrims. So hopefully it'll help save us too. So we're just going to get a good layer of peat on top of all this. Give it some organicness to it.
Oops. You know, they've always had this old saying, you can't put 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-pound sack, but I think this company has proceeded to do that. They got 20 pounds of peat moss in a 10-pound sack, because there's a lot of this stuff in here.
It is. It's really compacted. I can spread it out with a rake if you want to just dump it.
You may have to do some more, but I'm just going to try to get it out this way. then we'll go from there. Looking good.
Yep, it is.
Really looking good. I'm liking it.
So one of the reasons that we went with the dump truckload of dirt this year is last year the beds that we had, we filled up with like garden dirt from Lowe's, bags of garden dirt, and even though the bags were like what, $2.50 a bag?
Yeah, something like that.
The number of bags that we had to buy was
staggering.
Yeah, phenomenal. So we decided to go with something less expensive and then amend it ourselves, and because we got the dirt fair. What'd we get it for? $200.
Yeah. So we. Can you hear me?
I don't know. Let me come closer. But we easily used 10 bags of garden soil.
Oh no, we loaded up the truck. We got about 30 bags of fertilizer and of peat, and that only went half height of the bed, and that was probably $180, $160, and
not peat, garden soil.
Garden soil.
Yeah.
Excuse me, garden soil. And the amount of dirt we've got in here right now barely touches that truckload of dirt that
yeah.
we got.
So we probably paid nearly $200 a bed.
Yeah.
Versus $200 for this, all 4 of these.
And that
hopefully
just doesn't, economically, it just doesn't make sense to spend that much money. You know, when there's so many different natural alternatives, and this is one of them. You know, is to get the peat, and that's one thing. You know, trial and error that we have learned. One thing that we planted some pines in the back property, and I had a conversation with a U.S. forester, really smart guy. Love talking to him, very, very knowledgeable. And I told him, you know, we live in Florida, Central Florida, and we've got Bahia grass, and I said we just can't get anything to grow. Every tree we had, I've planted 2 wild persimmon trees. They both died, and he basically said, what you have to do, he said, that the Bahia will just wrap around it and choke it out, suck all the water out, and it'll die from a lack of water, no matter how much water you put on it. So basically what he told us to do, and we've been doing it, and it's been awesome, is we dig around a big circle around the plant, and then we put peat at the bottom of it, and we pour water in it. Then we put the plant in, and we put peat all around it, and then we add dirt to it, and we leave about this much around the entire plant, and I put a border around it. And I did that to an apple tree out there 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I got leaves on it right now, and my other trees that still have the Bahia around it, they don't have any leaves on it at all. And I haven't watered that apple tree, but I did exactly what he said, and it's doing great.
Another thing that we'll be adding to that formula is adding the bone meal, or not bone meal, sorry, the blood meal to the peat moss to also give it a little boost. And that's another tip that we learned from Hollis and Nancy. So check them out on YouTube. We have learned a lot from them, partly because they live in Florida as well and deal with sandy soil like we do. So you have to learn how to put the nutrients back into it when it doesn't have a lot of nutrients. So.
And the one thing I would say is this. We didn't learn this yesterday. We've been watching YouTube videos. We've been watching Hollis. There's several other good ones that we really watch. And we've learned along the way. We've made some mistakes.
We've had successes. Don't get him wrong. We haven't failed at everything. We've had a lot of successes, but we have had failures. These potatoes over here was one. And it wasn't anything we really did wrong. It was more or less just timing. Nature. Yeah, timing. But it was a little, who knew it was going to get in the 30s in November in Central Florida.
But the other 2 things we had that were really good, we had tremendous amounts of banana peppers, and we had tremendous amounts of squash that did great. So we've learned, but we try to never sit still, always learn for more, always try to gain more knowledge, and for those of you that are like, wow, that just seems overwhelming, just get on the YouTube videos and watch some of these people. They will give you confidence. They make mistakes. They have a lot of successes, and it's fun. And you just learn from it, and then the next year you just do something different. So we're excited this year. Last year we had 5 tomato plants. This year we have 50. So
we have 2 full beds of tomato plants.
Full beds. So we're going to give it a shot. We may have half of them that do well, and we may have all of them. We don't know, but it's fun.
Tomatoes, by the way, are what we're actually planting in this bed that we're preparing right now. So, and that's one reason we're putting the nitrogen. Yeah, absolutely.
Subscribe to us, ask us questions. We don't know everything, but we can probably point you in the right direction. We're enjoying it, and I'm sure you will too.
It's a good hobby. It's a beneficial hobby because we have I hope to be canning a lot more this summer, more than I did. I canned a little, got my feet wet with canning last year, and
we're gonna dunk her in the pool this year.
But just it's a healthy hobby. It's healthy exercise wise. It's healthy eating the things you grow wise. So we really.
And the other thing that I'd like to tell you is a friend of mine was showing me their family's raised bed garden. Nothing like this. It's a smaller bed. It's probably 2 foot wide, maybe 4 foot long. But she has a couple of those. And they use it. It doesn't have to be this big. It can be smaller. We had smaller ones at the old house.
Absolutely. We used to live in a neighborhood, and not even a quarter of an acre of land we lived on.
A lot.
And we used cinder blocks and made our raised beds over there, and we grew corn. We did some things. So even if you don't have a lot and you live in an apartment, get some pots. We're putting potatoes in those pots over there. So use pots, use containers, and use 5-gallon buckets. Use whatever space you have, and use whatever you have to work with. All right, so I think we're ready to go back now and put a little more dirt on top of this, and we will probably sort of mix it with the rake a little bit, and we should be about done. Thanks for watching, you guys. Our plan was to finish filling up the bed and let you see the finished product, and you will see that in another video. But for now, we have some bad weather coming and aren't going to get to finish it like we had planned to right now. But you guys stay tuned, and like I said, thanks for watching, and as always, do your best and let God do the rest. Bye-bye.